Hi guys, welcome to our next LabVIEW video tutorial in which we are going to discuss about the arrays. So, in addition with the basic data types like numerics or boolean, LabVIEW have different data containers as well. So that containers are used for a collection of elements. So where we can have a different collection of elements, so but the data type should be the same in those containers. So in the containers, the data type, it can be either controls or it can be either indicators, but it should not be mix of them. It should be only the same type of data. Okay, so these are elements are stored in order with the indexed values, and the index is always gonna start from the zero. As in a lot of other programming language, the indexing is gonna start from the zero. So I would explain this with the analogy of car parking. So you can take example like there is a car parking, because in the car parking the all data is same, all the elements are the cars, and they are stored with the index number, and index is always from the same, so 0 1 2 3 4 5, it's like that. Okay, so let's go into the lab view and then let's see how it works. Okay, to have my arrays into LabVIEW, so what I need to do is I just need to right click anywhere into the front panel, and then I can go here into my modern controls, and then you can see there is a palette for the arrays, and then here I can choose an array, and I can just drag an array here anywhere in the front panel. And the next thing, I want to have some copies of this array, so I just need to select it. I need to hold the control key on my keyboard, and then I can generate different copies of it. Let's say 3 copies. Okay, one more thing which I would like to highlight here. There is a tool if you want to organize your diagram into front panel or into block diagram. So there are some options here into the menu, so you can rearrange them, you can bring them into, you can align them. Same in the case of block diagram. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna bring them in a line, or if you want you can go and you can bring them in vertical alignment or in the middle, or there are different options, you can just discover them. Okay, now I have these array containers, and by default they don't have any data type, so it can be indicators or controls or whatever, but by default they don't have any. So I need to store my own data type by myself. Suppose I want to store some numeric controls, and I can just hold my numeric control and I can drop it into the array, and I want to have one numeric indicator as well, which I'm gonna drop in the second array. Let's take another one which is boolean, and then I can just store into the third array. So as soon as I'm gonna fill these containers with my data type, so you can see like the icons into the block diagram, they are gonna change according to data types, because in the first two I just saved the floating number, so that's why they converted into the orange, and the third one was boolean, so that's why the color of the icon is green. As I already explained in previous videos, the colors and how they are associated with different data types. Sorry for distraction, but if you think my videos are helpful for you, or if you are a serious LabVIEW learner, then I am gonna highly recommend you can go into the description of this video, and then you can find a course link where I have over 5 hours of video where I explain each and every tool in very detailed and with an example as well. And if you have any ideas about collaborations, if you have some projects or assignments, any tasks, feel free to write me in my email, which is also in the description of this video. Thank you. Okay, now if I want to connect these two arrays, so what I can do is I can just wire them, and right now my arrays are just, they have just one data type and they have no element in it. So what I can do is if I want to have multiple elements, so what I can do is I can just click on them, and then I can hold it from these blue dots, and I can drag, and I can have as large as much I want to have. And right now you can see the elements and the background is blur because I did not feed it with the element, so that's why it's blur. So if I'm gonna give them some values, let's say 10, 20, let's say here 30, 40, 50, maybe it's enough. Yes. Okay, I just feed the whole array with the different elements. So what I can do is if I'm gonna run it, and then if I want to see what is in these array, so I can see here into the indicator. So if I'm gonna run it, so this is the 0th index, I have value of 10. If I'm gonna go the first index, so on the first index the value is 20, as you can see, third, fourth, fifth, something like that. Okay, so there are a lot of functions which are associated to array. So for that, what I can do is I can go into the functions, into the block diagram, and then here you can see into the array palettes I have dozen of functions. So what I can do is, as you can see, there are different functions. Suppose I want to see array size, so I can use this function. So I can just put a array size function here, and then I can connect this with the array size function, and now I need to have an indicator. So I can right click on the connecting dot, and I should have to have an indicator because I want to see what is the size of array. So it's gonna show me into the indicator of this one. And let's explore some other functions. We can replace the subset, we can sort 1D array, we can split them, we can threshold of any, then we can reverse arrays. So let's say index arrays, this is also a nice function. So what I can do is I can just ask this function, let's go into the arrays, and I just need to give an index number, and then it's gonna find out the value of that index number. So again, I'm gonna connect this with the input of the array, and it has two points. The first one is I need to give the input from the array. There is a second point where I need to give the index number. So I can right click, I can choose a constant here because I need to give a number, like at what index number you want to see the value. Let's say I want to see it on the 3. So this is my third index. I want to ask this function, go to the third index of this array and give me the value. And then again we need an indicator where it's gonna show us or display us the value. So I'm gonna go create an indicator here. So this is the indicator, index display. We can just name it. Okay, so what I can do is spelling display. Okay, so what I can do is I can just run the program, and you can see like the first function was the size of the array. So the size is, it is showing the size of the array is 6, but keep in mind, like it's gonna start from the 0. Okay, and the next function which we were using, it was the index display. So I give the 3, so the third index 0, 1, 2, 3. The third index, the value is 40, so that's why it is showing me the value is 40 in the third index of that array. So there are a lot of other functions, you can just discover them. I would say, like, you can go and you can watch them, and if you don't understand any function, what you can do is you can just drop that function into the block diagram, and then you can press Ctrl H in your block diagram. So you would find the help window, and then you can read and how those functions are work and how they are helpful. Okay, so this was all about the arrays, and in the next video I'm gonna discuss about the multi-directional arrays. So thank you for watching, and see you with the next video.